You know what? I consider myself to be a rather jovial fella. I consider myself to be somebody who, like, is something that, I appreciate the things while there. I try to appreciate the stuff while it's there. And the fact of the matter is that is the second to last time that I'm going to play that intro for this here show. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, but that one kind of even though I think we're all definitely a lot of us over here at Watchers in the Bar are overdue for a bit of a break, but I am going to fucking miss it, and I'm definitely looking forward. I'm definitely like
we got a break. I mean, Lord of the Rings, it ended early just to give us that extra couple of weeks break.
That's true. That is true. The fact that we don't have to jump on and film directly after the stream is also that. And speaking of the stream, what's up, everybody? It is me, Sean Tanktop. I am over here at Casa de Tanktop, and we are doing Targ Thursdays, as we say over here in Chicago. We're doing the live stream spoiler discussion with a bunch of special guests for House of the Dragon. We are doing season 1, episode 9. The name of this episode is The Green Council. It is directed by Claire Kilner, Geeta Patel, and Greg. How do we say that last name? That seems kind of...
That's Greek. You should know that.
Yatanis.
Okay, cool. No, I was going to say it looks Mediterranean, but I struggle with that just a tiny bit over there. But also written by Sarah Hess and Ryan Condal. We are over here, just so you guys know, we'll get through, we'll introduce the guest right after we go through a couple of our... basically a couple of the ground rules and stuff like that. This is a spoiler discussion for everything that has up until the most recent episode of House of the Dragon, everything that happened within a little show called Game of Thrones. I don't know if any of y'all have heard of it or something like that, but we are all going to be touching on pretty much anything that's covered in that series. And also, if we have any insight from book readers about events up until the same kind of point in the story, we will talk about those. If there's any details that were kind of by the wayside or changes, and there have been apparently, or maybe not changes, but certainly additions that were made from the books in this episode, we're going to be doing that. And also, just so if you guys need to also want to become a part of the discussion, we love all you guys shouting everything's out in the chat. Also, shout out to fucking John Haymaker. Taco Targs days, I'll take that over there. Yeah, I could have used a taco today. I had a salad and some chili, or whatever it was. But maybe for next time we'll go with the taco zone. But
I have spanakopita, which is triangle shaped something.
That's like, there we go. Oh my God. So the Greeks are all over this fucking thing right now. So, but if you guys always keep it lit in the chat. You guys always have such a great time, and we always appreciate how lively and friendly and supportive and fun the chat is and everything like that. But if you guys want to make sure that you guys get into the discussion with your comment, your question, or your concern or theory, you guys are able to do that by hitting us up with a super chat for any dollar amount. Also, if you want to fight Maddie on the internet, she's down for it, and that's also another thing that you can super chat for. She is absolutely down. But just so you guys know, just a super chat for any dollar amount with your question, comment, or theory or something like that, and we will absolutely guarantee that we will talk about it. If we can't talk about it while we're right kind of like in the thick of it, like if you as you message it, we will save it and we will address it at the end of the stream. So we just want to say thank you guys to everybody who's hanging out in the chat, everybody, all the future, I'm doing my brand, The Broken, and thanking the super chatters in the future and stuff like that, the super chatters in the past and everything. But now let's get on to the real, the thing that we got a full panel, we got a full screen. The boxes are getting smaller, and that means that we got more super awesome guests that are hanging out with us right now. Directly to my stage left, I think it's Maria, aka Volamore Dollars. How are you doing, my dear?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about this episode.
Are you? Do you got a lot to say?
I'm not sure how to measure that, but
right, absolutely. I'm not. We'll get a little further into it, and then we can sign the check. You know what I mean? All right, yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, my dear. Further over to my left, it is the Mad Lad Eamon Stan over here. It is Maddie K. How are you doing, my dear?
I'm having a great time here with my friends. Good to see Sam again, as always. Ready to talk about dragons and fight people about feet.
There we go.
I'll
Okay.
fight you. My
I know we're sisters-in-law, and we must fight.
Sisters-in-law on the wrong sides of the war.
We're having our own little dance of the dragons.
Oh yeah. It's like 10 little dragons, like that over there. Is that what we're calling it? There we go. All right, and to the to the bottom left corner over there, it is Sir Dustin the Tall and Comrade Morgsaria over there. How you guys doing over there, Jason?
Yeah, power to the people.
Right. Don't say that too loud, because then your guys' apartment will be on fire by the end of the live stream.
I know.
You can't don't declare.
That's my husband. He would never.
No way.
I just stick a toe in his mouth.
What's that? I thought it was Otto that did that. That was you think that was Larry's that did that? I thought that was Otto all the way.
That was why she let him pull on it in front of her. She was ordering the murder of Massaria and
Massaria, okay.
And
there's a lot more going on that scene than right.
This is why Larry's did nothing wrong. The director did him dirty. That's all I'm gonna say. But we'll get into that later. The director of this episode did him dirty, but like when I rewatched it,
the writers and everything, you know what I mean, like all that stuff. Like a lot of dirty was done over there. It's like a couple of dirty little footsies, little tootsies over there. But we got ourselves. Oh, I know they're ready to go. Anyway, and directly below me in the bottom right, you know him, you love him. You have probably shed some tears. You probably shed some tears during this man's incredible performance within this franchise, and we are lucky to have him grace us with his presence and stuff like that. Also, we always seem to pick every time that you've done a stream with us has been on like a pretty like a kind of a crazy day for the UK. I think literally the last time that you joined us,
oh my god, right? The
queen had passed, and then this today the conservative prime minister would essentially just kind of pieced out or whatever or something. I mean,
yeah, we got another Liz, you guys. We got another Liz.
Oh my god, another Liz goes down. It's Sam Coleman, aka Young Hodor. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, good. I've got my chaos cape on. I'm just scared I'm going to put my foot in it.
Right, and we are trying to put our best foot forward with this here episode.
My God.
You better believe it. Over here, or definitely not to put a foot in anybody's mouth or anything like that. But no, it's going to be a long stream, and there's going to be a lot of terrible puns, and we're all going to totally and hopefully all have a good time with that. But yeah. So again, thank you to everybody for joining us and stuff like that. We're going to get on with our prompts and everything. We're going to kind of get straight into it. Kind of talking about this here episode, the Green Council, episode 9, the penultimate episode, always kind of very historically, since season 1, has always been like, yo, here's a curveball, here's something explosive, sometimes literally, within like how they structure the stories and the drama and the beats and everything like that. And so I think it's going to be very interesting to talk about it. Sam, since you're joining us all the way from across the pond and stuff like that, so we figure we'll give you the first crack at this episode. We're going to talk about our general thoughts about this episode. My friend, what were your general thoughts about this episode of television, and then maybe kind of like up until this point, the season overall? What are you thinking over there?
Well, first of all, I'll start by telling you I've not made any notes for today. So this is all out of my brain.
Raw dog in this fucking live stream. I'm into it. There we go.
This episode was everything I love about this sort of House of Dragons in particular. There was politics. There was sort of like West Wing-esque sort of like scandalous things going on. There was needless out of the blue violence like Beesbury on the desk and things like that.
Sure.
And there was dragons. So, and feet.
And feet.
Weird sexual thing seems to also be a moniker of this show. So I think it had everything we've come to know and love about this world.
There we go. It definitely was like, I kind of use this terminology a lot or whatever, but like when a show has written some checks, and then when it starts to cash them, and like towards the end of a season or towards the end of a series, they kind of start to do that. And there was definitely part of that. This is the first time that we've seen the Greens kind of like, start to enact their plan. It's the first time where like Allison really has to kind of get down with the reality of that plan and of this thing that she's kind of been thinking that's been on her mind for so long. And then, obviously like, a myriad of other things. We'll go over there with Maria. We'll take it over to you, my dear. What were your general thoughts about this episode? What were you feeling about this one?
I really like this episode a lot. I really like the way it was paced. It starts off very dark and quiet, very, few words. And then the whole episode, it's heading towards this crescendo, towards that last scene, the exploding dragon.
Right. Yeah. Literally like exploding up from the floor and stuff like that. I mean, like, I kind of had the feeling that something like that was going to happen as soon as she slipped away. Like, were you, or it was either that or she was going to like slip out the side or something like that. Were you just kind of floored by that? Or did you think like, oh, she's going to fuck these people up?
I was floored because I didn't know, I knew something was going to happen, but they were taking longer than I anticipated for them to make it happen.
Right.
And by the time it happened, I was like, oh, I guess I'm just wrong,
Right. Maybe nothing will go wrong. Maybe it'll go off without a hitch. Nope.
It was like I was like, something's gonna happen, right? And okay, no, but I wasn't sure what she was gonna do, so I was very surprised.
Right. No, it was definitely like a thing that. I mean, that's one thing that, regardless of like how like I think there's been a lot of. Probably unneeded. I think that people can have concerns or questions or thoughts about like how like a certain beat in a story is written and everything like that. I think that's totally cool. I think that like the vitriol is kind of like what we sort of don't need, especially when the show is still as good as it is and stuff like that. And so I think that even if. I think that, like, I don't know, I guess it's one of those things where you just like, we've been doing so well. And and that's the other reason why I'm so proud of like all of the people that are in our comment section. Like we're not in our comment section of the videos, but certainly on the live stream, certainly on the live streams. You know what I mean? Like that's where all the cool, like, I think that's where everybody kind of put their best foot forward.
For three directors for this episode, it felt very cohesive.
Yeah. I think that's very,
yeah, that kind of shocked me a little bit.
Yeah.
I wonder how they split those duties. We were talking about
duties.
we were talking a little bit about like, what? We're just gonna blame everything on Greg. Everything we don't like, that's Greg's fault.
Yeah, there's a director named Greg, and he's involved in Twitter, and with the Twitter being as toxic as it is this week around.
Who knows?
I'm a Greg truther.
Yeah.
They're into it on purpose.
Yeah. Greg was probably like, oh, there's a kid fight scene. I'll direct that.
right. It's like
Are we gonna make Greg great
like
again?
Let's make Greg like he's probably the nicest dude, and we're all just like fucking Greg.
Whatever, everybody's shitting on Sarah Hess, so let's give a little to Greg. Let's give a little
right, for
Greg.
Sure. Right, absolutely. Yeah.
Greg.
I think that well, actually, here, let's actually to that end over there. We're talking about some kid violence. Big App. It's like Sean asked for more kid violence, and we got more kid violence. Yeah,
Brutality.
I mean, like no, overjoyed. I mean, like you know what I mean, like almost not, but nowhere near as happy as you were at the Laris scene. You know what I mean? But it was pretty fun. It was like it made me pretty happy. Definitely. Thanks a lot to the Big App for the super chat over there. Also, shout out to Chelsea. Rainey should have just said Dracarys and stopped the literal war, but then we wouldn't have season 2. And that's kind of like. The thing of it, and we will talk about it because I do think that again, take the vitriol away, take the fervor away from it. I think that there's some things to be said about that scene, like in either for or against. I think that there's certain ways that you can look at it where it's kind of like a very powerful kind of character beat, and then there's sometimes where it's like it's a little sloppy. But I mean, I've never known that this franchise to. Dabble in any of that type of stuff before, you know what I mean? So, I mean, in other words, it's kind of classic Thrones in that way. So thank you very much for Chelsea. We appreciate you for that very much, dear. And we got ourselves the last one. The Big App is going in. If you look in the mirror and say Laris 3 times, he shows up behind you and skeets on your feet.
One can only dream.
Oh, God. Now I just have like to the window, to the wall stuck in my head.
Oh no! Oh my god! Skeet! Goddamn! I mean, that's what he was doing. It's like, yeah. I mean, like, I'm trying to think about like how we could George R.R. Martin it up or whatever. It's like wait, no, I mean, I'll think of it in a second or whatever it is. But yeah, kind of like a little bit of a ghoul, a little bit of a Candyman, a little bit of a something like that over there. You say something that he likes 3 times, and then he fucking.
Cool. That's why I love him.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, I know, absolutely. I mean, like I think that it's definitely to there we go. It's like we got to the moon window. To the wall.
Yes.
Oh my god.
These barefoots crawl.
Yeah.
You know what?
All feet, motherfucker.
Right. All feet, goddamn, right.
Wait, no, all feet, Uncle Fucker.
Uncle Fucker. Oh, there we go.
There.
And then the Canadians have entered the chat over here, apparently. Oh my god. Yeah. We'll put it over to Maddie. We're moving on to the general thoughts. What are your general thoughts about this episode? What are you feeling about this one?
I really loved it. I loved how slow it was, and I loved particularly how much it reminded me of The Winds of Winter. And I also really liked how contained it was whenever they were talking about how House of the Dragon is going to be such a different feel from Thrones, because Thrones is like a sprawling, expansive story, but House of the Dragon is very much contained to the Red Keep.
Right.
I thought that episode showed this more than others. There were some definite book changes that I was upset about. But there are also some kind of wild theories that I have been playing around with after watching this episode that I'm actually really for. And so I thought the music was beautiful. I thought the acting was beautiful. I thought all of the scenes and all of the choices were just ambiguous enough for us to fight about it forever until season 2,
right?
Which is like peak. So that's what I want. I want things to fight about when this is all said and done. So like, because what else are we gonna do?
You enjoy the fisticuffs. You enjoy the fisticuffs. You know what I mean? Like,
what is fandom if not bullshit persevering? You know what I mean? Like, Saga Ice
You
Empire,
are not wrong about that.
That's
Saga Ice
true.
Empire to me has always been me logging on Twitter and yelling at my friends about how they're all fucking wrong.
Sure.
And then like memeing each other into the dirt. Like,
right on.
That's what Thrones is to me. That's what House of the Dragon is to me.
Totally.
So it'll keep me warm when I have no more Sunday night HBO to look forward to.
There we go. I love it. And the Trace is over there. General thoughts about this episode. What do you guys think about this one?
I loved this episode. I really loved it. I thought it was great, and not just for the feet scene. But you know, I also kind of am living for all of the righteous keyboard warriors that are out like being like, they cheered when Rhaenys killed all the small folk. Right. And I'm like, no, I cheered for a dragon. Like, do you not know who I am?
Right.
That was a fucking dragon.
We enjoy the dragons.
Also,
like,
no art.
Whoever you stand in this, unless honestly, maybe if you stand, maybe Masari at this point, who's kind of like trying to help out the small folk. No matter who you stand, these highborn fuckers don't care about you or me.
There were no RPIs involved.
The whole point is they're monsters, but
the system is bad. The system is bad.
Yeah, they are the keeping up with the Targaryens, where you watch this family that's objectively awful. You make them famous because you're obsessed with them. Because you want to see their bad behavior. And then
they're like, we're gods. We can do whatever. I don't give a fuck about like 24 people that I accidentally killed because I needed to get my dragon out of the pit. It's not my fault that they were in the way. Like,
and
Danny talked about breaking the wheel. This is the wheel that we are saying.
Yeah,
her
right.
Own family was the freaking wheel.
Sure. Yeah.
She just didn't know it because she didn't grow up. She only had it funneled through her
brother.
Bad Viserys.
Yeah. Well, I think I do think that there are a lot of likable people in this show. Like, I don't think like everybody like I think
likable, but they do monstrous things.
Of course. I mean, but everybody does. I mean, Ned Stark cut a guy's head off because he was righteously like ran away from a nice zombie. Like for doing that. That's insane.
But Sean,
you know.
Okay, if the internet culture back then, if we were doing bar reactions back then and the hype was around it, you know there'd be a motherfucker in our comment section being like, can't believe you guys all like were like happy when Ned Stark chopped off that poor man's head.
Right.
The TikTokification of like comment section.
I don't know what it is.
I think
a lot of people just really like want engagement, and they know the way to get that is to be negative about something.
Sure.
That they know that they really know is not like a thing. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
it's been constant on our like. It's been this thing being like, they're happy when this war crime happened, and I'm like,
I just need those people to go touch some goddamn grass.
But you're still watching. You're still commenting.
We're not at the bar. We're not at the bar watching CNN.
You know what I have to say, that, guys?
We're not watching the Ukraine war.
You're not at QVCNN.
When we do that, if we did that and we were cheering, then yes, drag us, please.
Absolutely,
but
right.
These are not real people.
Yeah, right. Well, no, right. These are no real person involved, like from Succession.
RPIs, buddy.
Right, and no, I think I mean, like,
no small folk were actually harmed in this coronation.
Right, and the other thing,
NSIs, no small folk involved.
Right, absolutely. I mean, I think that it's just that's kind of. I don't know. They've sort of done that, but but most of these guys would probably just turn around like almost immediately and like stand like like Anakin Skywalker is like one of their favorite fucking characters ever, like a literal child murderer or something like that, which is fine, by the way. Like, you know what I mean? It's totally like the child murder is the fake child murder isn't like cool, I guess, or whatever. It's not good for him, but it's like you can definitely like be. It's not. I mean, like it's not good for his soul. You know what I mean?
What do you mean child murder is bad?
Well, no. This is me saying it. No. It's only good for my soul. I can't.
Child murder is bad, and
Sean Tate-Up is coming out against child murder.
No.
Wow, I can see the political ads right now.
Sean,
I'm thinking like
Sean, what if that baby is baby Hitler?
What if that baby just has bad vibes?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
You never know.
You never know. I mean, like, no. I mean, like, I think no. I'm always describing just like I'm not what's good for me may not be good for thee, and like so I'm not gonna like, but me especially the kid violence, the child murder. Oh, it's just nom. I love it so much. Like no, but I think this will probably be the one thing that I maybe like kind of comment on, and I will be like maybe like the one guy out of here, because I will say I think that this is maybe the second worst episode of the season so far.
You and I have I've learned in the past like year and a half is you and I watch television very differently.
Sure.
Because like I really like disliked the episode before this, and you were like, this is the best episode. And I had a blast with this one. I like when Luke Skywalker showed up and you had a shit fit. So like I think that this is amazing because like this episode was giving me like a lot of background and a lot of like action. So I honestly like I think it's really fun. Like
our stream would be boring if you guys like the same thing.
Agreed all the time, right?
I'm not full Maddie. I'm not a fighter. But I definitely like I like that we like different things about this show.
Sure.
Like, what it's telling me is that this show is like firing on all cylinders, and that it's giving us like crazy action moments and like big splashy comic book, dragon explosion pages.
Right.
And then also giving us quiet garden walks and like cool introspection.
Oh yeah. No,
and really awesome intrigue and moments.
Yes, because I love the intrigue, and this episode is like so heavy with it.
You see, what it's given me is that Dustin has good taste and Sean is wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's a professional.
Hold on. I'm just
Hang
gonna do a cute little thing right here where I mute everybody's mic. All right, cool. So now that I can actually have the fucking floor for all these weirdos. Hold on. Oh wait. Hold on. I think I can take everybody. It's like, should I let you go? Oh, okay. So there we go. Right.
So rude.
Oh, it is like there's only one that sits on the tank throne, y'all. Just so you guys know. No. I mean, like it's again, it's not taking away, like I was saying before, like not to have any kind of like the vitriol of it or whatever. I mean, because like were the things that happened awesome? Absolutely, they were. And I think I've even said this. I said this in our rewatchers commentary track where I love that element of. Like sometimes it's just funny and it's just fun and interesting when you know, I think that there are like moments that I really enjoy and have like think are really great and crazy and whatever. They're also like simultaneously like dumb as dog shit, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like this series has been that before, and I've enjoyed those elements before, and so I just thought that there was just, I don't know, that was just it's just my own little personal thing. I was like, but it was like, I will agree with the pace of it, and the fact that it had 3 directors is outrageous. Like as far as like the slow kind of ascent into like what everything, like kind of like where everything kind of went until it literally hits like this one explosive kind of moment towards the end. And I thought that was, as far as like a pacing type of thing and just ratcheting things up, it was incredibly impressive. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing as like everything else, like, you know, with any other kind of moment or a kind of period in the show where we got some things to say about. I think that there are, like, obviously there are, I think like another thing that we like to say on this channel is that we can hold like 2 thoughts in our brain at the same fucking time. And so, yeah, I mean, like, and that's sort of how I'm thinking about this thing over here. So, anyway.
Maddie, you wanted to reclaim your time.
I just wanted to say, while I'm reclaiming my time, I would like to push back against Dustin, which I was trying to defend you when you muted me, Sean. So just FYI.
I just needed it to be known. I just needed it to be known to clear the air.
He's gone mad with power. We have to overthrow him. But no, I do just want to say, no one is allowed to have bad taste if they watched Arcane and liked it. So we can all agree that we all watched Arcane and liked it. Therefore, we all have taste. Yeah. It might be different. Of course. But we all have taste.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like, and also the other thing is like, I don't know, me and Dee, like, we like about 90% of we like about 80% of the same things. You know what I mean? Like,
and like, I had a shit fit when Luke showed up, but I also really like this episode. Yeah. But I also could see why it would be boring for some people. Listen, he just wanted to see more Damon, y'all. He's just here for Damon. Yeah. There wasn't enough kid fighting for him, so he got bored.
That was a big thing. I was just like, it's like, all right, listen, like, I mean, like, yeah, they're punching each other, but I mean, like, let's really get into it. Like, let's get the special effects teams like in on this thing, and let's really get gnarly with it. So moving on from the general thoughts, and I'm loving it because we're gonna have ourselves a lot to say about this episode. MVPs, which I always think is very interesting. It can be an actor, it can be a composer, it can be a writer, it can be a director, it can be a character, even. Maddie, who's your episode MVP for this week? Who do you got over there?
Okay, so I want to shout out Olivia Cook.
Oh my God!
I think if the last one was Patty Considine's Emmy submission, I think this one should be Olivia Cook's.
Yep.
But my MVP, I gotta say, is my favorite messy bitch, Amond. Like, he came here to throw hands.
Right.
And they were successfully thrown. And he made a point, and it was good.
Yeah.
And he was there for my bitch Helena when she was scared of the dragon. So
true.
Like, good for her.
Yeah.
And good for him.
I love his self-assuredness and his like drive and how nimble and how expertly he moves within the scene and within the story and stuff like that. I think he's so fascinating. Clear.
He's so sure of himself and so sure of his role in a way that other people just absolutely aren't. And if the chat will give me a moment. Today I saw this TikTok that someone had reposted to Twitter, and I quoted it to say, I'm laughing so hard and trying not to do it out loud that there are tears streaming down my face and my eyes are stinging. So if you want to watch that, it's
there we
right
go.
Here.
Hell yeah. Give everybody the links over there for it.
It is hysterical.
Oh my God, it was like MVPs are those silent sisters who had to smell and tend to the corpse of Viserys because it was musty. You know that it was fucking rough. Absolutely, 100%. We did get like a little bit of his face. So Patty Constantine still got one more credit in the very beginning. What's that? Oh yeah,
a paycheck at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Maddie, do you think Aemond was a victim of bad writing, or he accidentally let it slip when he said that he was next in line for the throne?
So actually, I think they talked about this on Watchers in the Bar. Number one, I do subscribe to the theory that all of Helena's kids are Aemons, and therefore he is next in line. But the real reason is that the line doesn't inherit from generation to generation until that person is crowned. So
so if he's never crowned Aemon, okay, you're right.
So if currently before Viserys dies, if someone had murdered Rhaenyra, it would have gone to Aegon. It wouldn't have gone to Jacaerys or Lucerys.
Okay.
It would have gone to Aegon. So
that
he says, I'm next in line. And I think good for him for being like, I could take the throne right now if I fucking murder you. And then being like, no, but I actually
let me not murder my brother this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Showing a lot of
what kind of
forethought,
scumbag
unlike
what kind of
other
scumbag
people.
would do that? You know what I mean? Anyway, no, I mean, was that mostly your MVP though? Was for Olivia Cook and for
Olivia Cook just really fucking killed it. Like I don't know how much like I can say about it. Like I was not a fan of the thing they did at the end of the episode, which they also did in the Rings of Power. But I am a fan of Olivia Cook, and when
they panned out to the thing and it just said King's Landing written above the screen.
I mean when the confused kings, Tar Palantir, Viserys, tell a prophecy to the wrong person because they mistook them for somebody else.
Yeah.
Sure.
So for their daughter, the heir. Yeah.
Wait, what's your name? You're not Soren? Whoever. All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right, I'll follow you. That's fine.
Right. 100%.
Yeah. So the fun thing is that Olivia Cook sold it, even though I didn't really buy Allison's motives. I thought they were kind of wishy-washy. She was like, wow, Aegon must be the heir. And then she was pissed that people were plotting something that she expressly wished for. And then was like, okay, yeah, I'm not, like, I know I was mad about it, but now I'm all in. Like, I can't tell which of those things are performative to her or if they're all just like this complicated truth living inside her that is like expressing itself in like fits and starts. You know what I mean? So
there is a kind of a wishy-washy. I mean, and I think that it's because I like the writer's intent and the showrunner's intent, which is to not, which is to flesh out this character, to not make them as kind of like opaquely the aggressor, like in the scenario as like it might have come off in Fire and Blood, to some readers and shit.
I like her being conflicted, but I wish
is
they had not.
But the
is
way
she conflicted though?
She's not.
Oh, this is good.
She's
Okay,
not.
so Maria,
I'm
no,
with
go
you.
on
Maria.
that. No, go with
Go
that.
off,
Go with that.
Maria.
What do
This
you
is
got?
really going into the next category, to be
Oh,
honest.
cool.
But Olivia Cook did a great job, regardless
Right.
of how we feel about Alice.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
No, I think
absolutely.
that's. I think I can back that. I can back that 100%.
I mean, if she didn't, none of us would be feeling this way.
Right, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Maria, let's talk about your MVP or whatever it is, which is clearly not Allison to the character. That's for sure.
It's never gonna be Allison.
Yes.
As far as this first season is concerned.
Right.
I don't know if something else will happen later on, but as of right now, I can't see that happening. I don't see it for her. But definitely I like Rhaenys this episode as my MVP. For two reasons. Because she has that little short conversation with Alicent where she's like, you desire to be free, but you make a window in your prison. And it's just like
bars.
Alicent, if you had just joined Rhaenys and Rhaenyra, none of this would be an issue. You could turn the patriarchy of this world completely upside down, but nobody could come against you.
Right.
And everybody could, you could theoretically everybody be fine, but you're so paranoid for not really any too much of a reason, because you've been paranoid since before your son lost an eye.
And it was seemingly alleviated literally last episode. Like literally, she was like, "You'll be a fine queen." She had kind of relinquished that element of herself, and I don't know. You got a drug addled, death rattling Aegon, whatever. There's 4 people named Aegon,
and
whatever.
He
That's
just took milk of the poppy, girl. You know what he's saying.
Yeah,
cannot be completely cogent right now. He's not completely coherent right now. Not only do the illness, but you just gave him milk of the poppy. Come on. But then also, I like how Rhaenys is pointing out to Alicent that yes, I see your ambition. You've never seen you consider yourself to be on the Iron Throne. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can.
It's wild.
Right?
Well, no,
it's right there for you.
I was wondering, I mean, well, it was interesting when that whole thing, because I'm trying to think about about the fact that she actually believes it, whereas how interesting would it have been possibly, and again, I'm not a writer. In fact, I'm a very bad one. But like, if there is but what if there was like a thing where, because they were always playing up about how powerful and how ubiquitous Massaria was, the White Worm, how she knows everything, right? Mm-hmm. And like, let's say, what if she goes in, she heard Viserys say what he said, but she's kind of like, oh, well, he's kind of, yeah, but he's I don't know, he's real fucked up. I mean, maybe that doesn't mean whatever the fuck it is. And then Massaria knows it, and Otto has already been told. He goes like, well, I'm under the impression that was his last words. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And things start to move forward. Then you could kind of sell me on on like, you know, a little bit of the, what would you call it? On like, kind of her, like the conflict could be sold a little bit better in that respect. I still think it's interesting. It's just an interesting beat for a character to have. You know what I mean? But I think that it just hasn't been fully fleshed out, like to a thing that passes the smell test. In a certain
and
sense.
I think honestly there are too many like, what is it, cooks in the kitchen in terms of her like motive. Like, so I think that just got lost. Does that make sense? Sorry, Maria, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, sorry. No, continue.
You still haven't gotten your MVP.
Oh my god! Right? Absolutely. Yeah. Sorry.
No, but Rhaenys is like, you know, you want to make this window in your prison instead of just escaping the prison, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
It was great. It really was. That was maybe my favorite scene in the show, in the episode, was their exchange. You know what I mean?
That was a really good conversation.
It was so good.
Yeah. Because she's clearly like so unhappy all the time. But you don't really want to be free, but you're not really getting too much of anything, and you're doing all this work, like.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that little conversation, Rhaenys put a little bit of seeds of things in Alicent's head, and then also that conversation. I just think that it really, like, number one, it actually like gave me a little bit more like characterization of Alicent that I kind of needed. So, and then when Rhaenys also, she's the MVP because, she literally took a warhead and got it back to the other side.
Yeah.
Which is, like, huge. And Otto was right where he was like, we can't let her leave. Was it Otto or it was, like, Alicent who said that you can't let you leave with a dragon?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If you leave with a dragon, then the other side is a little bit more, even though we have Vagar.
I think 100%. Alicent is the one that says that.
Yeah. That's what she's talking about. Like, it'll be more, if you don't have it, then it'll be more, it'll give them more cause to actually come over and speak with us and stuff like that, and actually parlay and everything like that. Shout out to LaFrenic. He's got Alicent's discussion with Rhaenys literally saved her life, and I think that is where that's the emotional context that does make that moment make sense. I think, like, as far as like the ending thing and what kind of stays Rhaenys' hand, you know, it's like she was literally thinking about that thing where she was just like, we must set an example, you know, for a path to peace. And nothing says that more than just literally not incinerating every motherfucker that was on that fucking stage. You know, which you know, if you break it, you know, if you logistic, like in a logistic sense, knowing what we know, she should have done. But you know, I think that's what kind of makes it an interesting character beat over there. Sam Coleman, what do you got over there? Who's your episode MVP for this week?
So firstly, I think Eve Best for playing Rhaenys the way she did. I think, you know, as a character that could have been quite a dud character, like some of the lines were quite sort of cliche, not fleshed out as much as it could have been.
Right.
And that ending scene could have been really, really cheesy and awful. But if anything, made it pretty awesome, in fact. I think it was Eve Best's performance there. And just, I mean, she's incredible. You know, she's never delivered a line that hasn't been as good as that line could have been delivered, I think.
Right.
Although my other MVP, I do want to shout out Lord Beesbury.
Hell yeah!
He hasn't done much, bless the old soul. But you know, he stood up at the end there and he said, "Actually, hang on, something's not right here."
Yeah.
You know, I want to use possibly my last moments on this earth.
He went out like a fucking boss.
It was great.
And you know, we'll get on to the next category soon. But damn, Crispy Cole.
Right? No, I mean, like,
Crispy Cole.
Literally,
Crispy
I mean, like, it was. I mean, like, now it kind of all makes sense. Like, where it kind of like, because they would accent those those meeting balls like so much, like they would like, you know what I mean, like they would just like they were just always ever present, like all the time. They'd be in the foreground. They just make you notice them very good, and it's because of this fucking moment right here. Is we literally like skull this dude out and shit like that. It was so. I remember it was so. That was like the first one. I remember that was the first time that the bar got really distressed. Dude, like people were going like,
when Otto was like, when they're like, can we get him out of? Otto was like, no.
Yeah.
We are not finished. And everybody's like, fuck.
Dude, it's like, yeah, right. And it's like when you're in a rush and you spill like your milk and your cereal and stuff like that, and then like it starts to go through the crack like in your table or whatever. It's just a run in your leg, and you're just wondering if that's happening to what's it, Thailand Lannister? Is it Thailand?
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Or
it's
is it?
supposed to be
Or is it?
Thailand, but there's a theory going around that Thailand and Jason have swapped places.
Oh, Dustin, when on our like right after we watched the episode, he's like, "Oh, that was Jason, right?" And I was like, "Dustin, you don't pay attention. That's Thailand. We all know." it's Thailand."
No.
Then I rewatched it, and he's acting. What? Did somebody invade Dawn? What's going on here? Like, he was
Right.
being all
He's
funny.
being all willy nilly. He's being a little
Which
more
is
like,
not a Thailand vibe. Like if you look
Thailand
back, it's
wouldn't
not
catch
Thailand.
that.
No, Thailand doesn't have a sense of humor. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
No, and he's like, "Don't roll." Like you wouldn't roll the ball to Thailand because he wouldn't catch it.
and also Jason has way more motive to be against. So I think that's
Yeah.
my whole thing. Like we've also spent more time with him.
True.
So I mean it's kind of
Also-
weird, but like that was my theory.
That would be
Also,
amazing if that proves true. I would love that. That would be incredible.
Like
And
the first time
after-
that the Moracle rubs off on me. Yeah.
You've been right a bunch of times, man. Like we've all had our miracle moments, but not so much than Morgan herself. What were you saying, Maddie? Over there? What were you
Oh, I
saying?
was just saying that like after he gets rejected by Rhaenyra, I can see that he will take, any grasp at power that he can manage. So
Who better? Well, no, because also you would think about it. Jason would probably. It seems like he's so by the book and he's so particular and he's so whatever that he would. I mean, obviously it might be within his interest, but it definitely seems like him. That seems like more of a Thailand move for us to be like, yeah, we're going to usurp Viserys' heir. Like that's what we're going to do. You know what I mean? He was talking that way from the jump. You know what I mean? In episode 2 or 3 or whatever it was. And yeah, so I think that's interesting. Yeah, so that's a great beat. And yeah, Beesbury. I mean, that was the first one where people were just like, we were like, this is now we are going off the rails. The rails have been gone off. It's from that moment on. You know what I mean?
Times where I yelled shit in the bar. Where I was, fucking
Right.
Beesbury!
And I
Yeah,
knew
right,
it was coming,
absolutely,
too.
dude.
I
Yeah.
was like, this is coming. It's happening.
Yeah,
Right.
I think Beesbury and good old Harry Westerling, good old Harold,
Yes.
like just fucking being like, nope, just give me a call when you got a king.
When you got a king, I'm a Kingsguard, but
Right. I mean,
That
like.
was the hot shit right there.
It was good. I mean, like I liked it. It was good, but then it's like it's one of those things where you're like, do you actually want? It's like you realize by doing this, you're just giving them, you're vacating a position for them to just give to Sir Kristen, who just murdered Beesbury. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not one of those things.
And it's still not in prison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This man is just murdering people.
It's
Title
the same,
people. He's
yeah.
not killing small folk.
It's the
Right.
same shit
Man,
that, like,
honestly.
yeah,
Right.
Barristan Selmy did the same shit, and
he
like,
didn't kill anyone. He
no,
just
no. I'm saying Barristan did the same thing as like Harold,
Right.
like Westerling, and was like, I'm not part of this,
Right.
Like, but he abdicated and like was like, yeah, and like that's kind of what led Jamie to be able to kind of run shit,
Sure.
and it's the same fucking scenario where it's like, yeah, I'm out, and
Mhm.
it's like, oh well, here's this guy, that guy,
Right.
the guy that just
He's
like
murdered a person at a wedding.
yeah, smashed Beesbury's face into a little like wall, like
Right.
Jesus.
It was truly like it was like a Halloween movie type of a kill. It was like a slasher kill, that thing. Like I was expecting like Kristen Cole to show up with the fucking hockey mask and
So
like
fast, dude.
it was just like brrr, like or whatever it was. Yeah, it was
No,
definitely
very like Batman, Dark Knight, Joker. right?
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
oh, you want to
absolutely.
see
Oh my
me
God.
make this ball disappear?
Now it's gone. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he is. I mean, he's getting there, dude. As far as like getting everybody's ire. What episode MVP? We'll go down to the traces. Who do you guys got for your MVP over there? Who do you guys feeling?
I'm gonna give it to Ramin.
Oh, yeah.
His score. was so much like when the sept exploded that he was telling us that there was going to be a fireworks factory at the end of this without and I was completely surprised.
Sure.
I have my own feelings on it, whether it worked or not. In my head, that scene worked. In my head, if Rhaenys was going to do a war crime, she's like, I'm killing everyone. And then she changed her mind. Because then if you're killing all the highborns, you're stepping on some lowborns, it's like, whatever. But if her whole plan was to just show up, scream in their face, and fly off, that's a little silly. But I have to believe in my soul that she was actually planning on killing everyone.
She was prepared to do it. She came out prepared to do it.
I need her to have murder in her soul. But the music just kind of teasing that out, the tension where it's like, ooh, no, this is a mystery on where's the king. We're going to have to go find the heir. And it's like, oh, but it sounds so much like when the building exploded. And then when the building explodes, I'm still surprised.
Right.
I don't know. I loved it. It kind of was like, the music kind of sold it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the sense of dread, some of that low, especially early on with some of that low piano stuff that they were doing was so insidious, and you just kind of felt this anxiety.
It was definitely a slow boil kind of episode. You're in it and you don't realize it's getting to this point until you're there and you're hearing that music and you're like, oh, okay, something's really about to pop off.
Yeah.
It's or just how these types of things. I mean, because we've also, Americans have witnessed a coup, an attempted coup, at least relatively up close, relatively recently, and
says you, Sean.
It does, right?
I have never flung poo on a wall.
Right. No, but where it's just there's some murmurings on Parler or whatever it is. Also, good luck to Kanye West for trying to buy that shit. There's some murmurings on stuff all of a sudden, oh wow, there is a lot of them there. Oh whoa, they're in the and then it just starts to snowball before you even know it. You know what I mean? And then and then we're watching what was it? What would it be? KNN, King's Landing News Network or whatever. Holy
all
shit,
Kings considered.
Things fucking Oh my god. I mean, the NPR stuff. It's hello, I'm Ira Glass. Today we're going to be talking about usurping the king, and chapter 1, or whatever it was. Yeah, that could be actually really fun. Shout out to all the NPR hits, all 5 of you that get that shit. There you go, Maria. I think that kind of does it. I think there's a lot of great fucking MVPs. Now we're going to get into some very interesting territory. I'm very excited since I think Maria had she even put out a little trailer for her.
You gotta hear it.
We gotta hear it. But trying not to talk until we get to the category.
There's no cure for being a cunt.
Cunt. A home-blowing cunt.
Cunt of cunts.
You cunts!
We got to talk about our cunt of the week, everybody. And it can be I think mostly the time we keep this to characters and stuff like that because there are, they basically, I think somebody's doing something that we don't necessarily, that we aren't into or that we don't agree with or whatever. And you teased a little bit of that, Maria, before. So let's throw it over to you first. Who is your cunt of the week?
Seems like it's the same people every week, but my hatred goes deeper. So, first of all, Allison's, who is not honest with herself, because it's she doesn't know what she stands for. Maybe she doesn't know who she is, which would not be surprised considering how she's been played by these different people in Game of Thrones, right?
Right.
But she's not real with herself because, she's oh, well, let's do turns for Rhaenyra, and we don't want to kill her or whatever, and she'll be able to, live her life in peace elsewhere or whatever. Are you serious? You were starting a civil war. You were going against what was already in place that her father said on his with his last words almost on that throne.
Yeah.
That she is to be the heir.
Right.
And you're gonna sit over here and say, oh no, let's not kill her today. We'll kill her later, is what you're really saying.
Why would he have taken the time to have helped to legitimize her by doing what he did earlier that day? And then that's kind of that's where it becomes a little flimsy. You know what I mean? So I can see that. He
said for years, decades at this point.
Right.
And you're telling me this is going to all of a sudden change, and then Rhaenyra is supposed to be. Is supposed to be good with that? She's supposed to be okay. There's not going to be any conflict. She's going to take those
also,
turns.
why he's riding the H train. By the way, I mean, like we have morphined this man up. You know what I mean? Milk of the oxy over there for sure. I mean, like he's fucked up.
I feel like they would have needed to, because the only thing with Allison's with the whole Faith of the Seven thing, we see her star get bigger. Gets bigger over the years.
It's gonna look like a Batman sigil by the end of it. You know?
Okay, you know what? I'll give you if you had a scene where she was like praying to the Seven to give her a sign of what to do. Just give me a sign to the Seven.
Girl, whatever. You know what you need to do.
I know. Because I'm like, does she actually believe that he was saying Aegon? Like that Aegon?
Aegon? You mean Aegon?
Hard to
You mean my Aegon? Like sex pest Aegon?
But like, how do you even believe that when it has been decades of him saying the same thing consistently?
And also the fact that you also don't fucking like this kid. You can't even tell him that you love him because he's such a piece of shit. That was
the other thing. She is so manipulative because he asked her, like, you know, do you even love me? And what did she say?
You're an imbecile.
You're an imbecile. So she doesn't confirm it, but she's saying this to make him feel like, why would you even ask? It's the same with somebody, when you ask somebody a question, how could you even ask me that?
Right.
Could you answer it, please?
Right.
His love language is words of affirmation, Allison. Okay? That's his love language.
But she couldn't even say that. And the thing is, like, even if she somehow actually meant that, but just last episode you said he was no son of yours,
right?
Because he's a serial rapist.
Yeah, and it's like literally like on the tail of like probably dispelling like her 20 some odd fucking moon tea to whomever the fuck, you know, to whoever.
And the bag of coins just ready to go.
Right, seriously, like, you know what I mean?
He has a sorry about my son's sexual assault like gift basket.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
That's exactly what it is.
Seriously.
There's an iTunes gift card, some tea.
Yeah, like, swag bag. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like it's definitely
a Fitbit. It's all cool.
I think that's kind of why I almost would it would be interesting. And also like you know, I don't know how long, 15, 16 years she's been kind of like wrestling with the idea. She's telling Aegon, you are the challenge just by breathing. You have to be ready. You're a man grown, blah, blah, blah.
She's going to kill you.
And that haven't considered the possibility that to do that, you would have to kill Rhaenyra. I mean, you know, whatever. I mean, like,
all right, hold on. I'm going to go Team Sean on this. The writing does not support any sort of relationship between Aegon and Rhaenyra. Like, we have seen them interact almost 0 times.
Yeah.
Like, and like, you know, where you're always like, it's not there. The writing is not there. And so, like, yeah, like, they don't have a relationship. So, like, there's no turn for, like, this fight. Like, Aegon and Rhaenyra I don't know if they've even spoken a word to each other on screen.
No.
I think up until this point, no, they haven't. But I think up until this point, like, Rhaenyra explicitly ignores and avoids them.
Right. It's very awkward at the funeral, like they're hanging out on the other part of the fucking
Viserys himself.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, like Viserys himself for sure. Yeah, I mean, because he's just like, this kid sucks.
Where these kids come from?
I mean, like, how many times have you forgotten that they're actually like brothers and sisters? Like, as somebody who has step siblings, I get it. It's right. Sometimes it's weird. We're like, oh yeah, I do have siblings. You know, like my siblings are like literally like half my age. Like, I get it, but like they're still my siblings.
Yeah.
And so like it's weird. The show has done really nothing to show, and like I feel like there's more bond between the cousins than there is between Viserys's like actual children.
Sure. Yeah. I can see that. I mean, yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, like, yeah, I think it's kind of it's put its time and kind of put its chips in the places, and I think kind of like it sort of kind of tells you where the story's going to go, because everything's kind of not like as kind of like evenly spread. You know what I mean? Like throughout the whole thing. So I think that's a fair thing. Shout out to Devin Hyde. Do you think that Larry's worked out the toes for Info's deal with Alicent? I seem to have missed that.
You're not wrong, Devin. I'll take
this too.
Yeah, so I'll take this one because no. Listen, I have my sights are always on Larry's. What's he doing? They don't. Like, they kind of cut it all out, but it's like there's just one scene when she meets him for dinner. You notice her routine is when she goes to eat dinner, she takes off her shoes and rubs her feet. And like, you really have to extrapolate your own thing where it's like, oh, she notices him staring at her feet. He starts giving information and she notices he's creepily staring at her feet. She takes off a sock. He gives up more. I think it's like a slow drip of like her realizing what it is.
Sure.
And it morphs into this toxic thing of like, now I got feature
Also,
information.
spoiler, this is how Morgan got me to marry her. She started noticing weird shit. And then I was like, oh, wait, I guess I have to marry you.
I was like, you like that? Okay.
Okay. All
There we
right.
go. Right on. I mean, like,
Yeah, I was thinking like I'm sure I feel like this would not be like a discussion. This would be
No,
something
no.
that, this
Yeah.
would be something that Loris just like kind of started doing
yeah.
Uh-huh.
at an opportune time. Although
Uh-huh.
it feels so weird to me because he also like he has the disability with his foot and now he's like lusting after her feet and I'm like,
So,
wait,
okay.
That makes. I mean, that's.
I don't-
honestly, that
I
makes
have
sense.
no. I have to actually push back here. This is
Yeah.
not a Larry's problem. This is the director problem. Where I've been seeing Larry's act creepy for like weeks, and I'm like, he's a foot guy. I just know it, just because, like, you know. I'm like, he either likes to smell people's hair, or he's a foot guy. No shame to foot people.
He's
I
either
love.
a Joe Biden or a Quentin.
I
Tarantino.
love foot people when it's consensual. They're like, it's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
But
And
it's
this
kind
doesn't
of a
really
joke.
feel that way. This doesn't
It's just
feel that
kind of a
way.
joke. You're like, oh, he's a foot guy.
this is
Not
a
thinking-
transaction.
Not thinking about his disability. But then the episode where they do like the real shit, they pan in on his foot, which I
Oh.
felt was a shady directional choice.
It's
It's
Garbo,
very-
Your Honor.
Huh?
It's Garbo, Your Honor.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I
yeah.
did not like the director zooming in on his foot because his foot fetish doesn't need to have anything to do with his disability.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Fucking
are
Greg.
Greg, people are foot fetishists not
God
because
damn it, Greg.
yeah. And it's very much like when you see on a screen, you could have a pool scene with women in bathing suits and you don't get a fucking creepy pan up the body.
Right. You don't morph into
Basically,
Michael
the-
Bay or something like
the-
that.
Oh
Right.
my
Camera-
god.
Right.
The camera is the problematic guy in the room, not Larry's. The camera's saying his foot is the reason he's horny for feet, which is totally bullshit.
Right.
There's somebody in the room called the foot
Anyway.
of the queen.
Anyway,
There is. But I did have
Literally-
another cut of the week, which was Kristen Cole.
Oh, please,
because
please.
Oh, yes.
God.
How are you still
No.
upset about a one night stand that happened over a decade ago, my guy?
Right. Well,
nonsense.
Well, and also the thing. What does he say? He says to Eamon very specifically. He goes like, "Well, your mother, the queen, is somebody that is, and like all highborn ladies are women to be protected and cherished as such. The realm when unless you're a spoiled cunt. You know what I mean, or something like that. You know what I mean.
You only
Unless
put people on pedestals and knock them down. Kristen.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean. Like so. Yeah. I think that kind of makes sense. Shout
Which
out
makes
to,
me worried for Allison in the future because
Yeah.
when she finds out about the Larrys of it all, Crispy's gonna get so toxic about it.
If he finds out about it, if she falls off the pedestal he put her on,
Yeah.
it'll be a
Oh.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's good. And that's probably be something for fucking season 2. Shout out again to Devin. I like how the White Room, show them how easily Aegon could be taken out if she wanted power to the people. That was a very cool bent on that character that I really.
Comrade Redworm.
There we go. Right, 100%. Absolutely. Like the communist worm festo or whatever it is. I
Yes.
mean, yeah, maybe not. Maybe that was a really bad joke. Good job, Sean. But yeah, I think I like that element of her character, and I like that they kind of did that. And we needed to kind of have them, especially if they're going to do what they did. We need to have somebody in a position of power, kind of advocating for the people in some way. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that that's also going to play. It's probably going to play very much into the hands of the Greens, though, because they're going to be like, well, like they're going to. I mean, it's definitely that instance is going to be like, well, no, you see, we got to take him out. Look at the tragedy that happened in the Dragon Pit. You know what I mean? They're going to utilize that, like, kind of in a very big way. We're moving on to the cunt of the week. And also let's get Sam over here. Sam, who is your cunt of the week? Who do you got, sir?
I think possibly also Hightower,
Big time.
schemy devil that he is. I mean, from I mean, a little bit in defense of Alicent, perhaps. I think.
Sure.
I think Rhaenys captures what Alicent's predicament is quite well in that little scene between them, which is that, I mean, secretly, I think, and perhaps even Alicent doesn't realize this, she's always wanted the throne in the same way that perhaps Rhaenyra did when she was younger, and although she's changed her mind.
Right.
However, Alicent's sort of way that she sees getting the throne has always been, she's a conservative. She sees that she has to maintain the status quo. You know,
right.
she has to use the structures that are already in place to her advantage rather than break the wheel. She has to sort of ride the wheel, if you like.
Right.
And so she's always seen that the best way she can do that is by being to the side of the throne. You know, she marries a king, and maybe
whispering in his ear, you know what I mean, and that type of thing.
Maybe with her son, she can kind of be a sort of Liza Aaron kind of figure and sort of be the mummy.
Oh God,
mummy king or whatever.
Let's hope not. The show can.
Well, not
the
quite
show's
like that,
gotten
but,
about as kinky as I think we can save it at least for next season. You know what I mean? Like,
but then I think you know.
Oh, I think we can always get kinkier.
Yeah.
I think we can. For sure. I would just some healthy kink. I think would be good. I don't think the Larry's and the Alicent stuff is healthy kink.
If you're ordering a murder, you should have to watch a guy jacket. That's all I'm saying.
You think so? Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry. There would be less murder in the world if before you did a murder, you had to have a little creepy dude creeping in your room. If you had to get
a Larry CK.
Yes.
Exactly it.
Hey, listen, I can help your career.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
nope.
That's what she doesn't have to order that murder, and she wouldn't have to see him pull it. So that's all I'm saying.
That's another thing about her character. That she kind of likes to pretend she doesn't want to, spill blood and do all this stuff, but she's showing her feet to Lori's on the side.
Just saying, she doesn't have to do that. She chooses to because she wants murder.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I think that explains the sort of the small council scene at the beginning. Is when she suddenly realized that, oh, hang on a second, you guys have been breaking the rules that I've been sticking by so resolutely. I've been working my butt off to try and make my son the king using the rules that are in place.
Right.
You know, I've been begging my husband to sort of change his mind, whatever. Finally, I think maybe he possibly told me that my son can be king now, and I maybe have a route for that to happen. And now I find out that it was going to happen anyway. So I think that's her thing. It's not it's it's not it's not all surprise, it's more, wait, why have I been following these rules if you haven't?
Right.
I think that's what Rhaenys is saying to her, is like, well, have you not thought about
wake up, girl, yourself? Stand up.
Why are you servicing all these men who will break the rules?
Yeah. I think that's very well said. I mean, like I think that I think that like that whole the Otto, it's one of those things where it is tough to kind of to extrapolate, and that's why that scene in this episode with her kind of being icy to Otto and kind of being adversarial to him was actually kind of interesting, and I actually enjoyed it. It was like our vision has never been the same. You know what I mean? You've only kind of, but then I think was that before or after the Rhaenys talk? I can't remember. Was that before?
I think it was before.
I think it was before, because then that was when they kind of sent out their own two emissaries to find, because that's the thing, like who controls the king controls the kingdom, and if she could get her,
that was the night before, and then Rhaenys was before the coronation. Yes,
I got you. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. No, I think that's well said. Maddie, Cunt of the week. What do you got over there?
I would say my Cunt of the week has to be shit. Okay. We already talked about Kristen. I'm gonna say it. Laris was a dick for this one.
Yep.
He was. Specifically, he was not a dick for being in defeat. Let's be very clear about that.
Yeah.
Feet men are valid, feet women are valid, feet ladies are valid. Like, live your life.
Of course.
It was the so we all know that Alicent has like this bone deep fear that Rhaenyra is going to come murder her children. So that is the state on which she is operating at all times. And so Larys offering her information is kind of like a life and death choice for her in her mind. I'm not saying he's
weaponizing the love for her kids and her willingness to protect them. That's why it's not like this. People talk about it like it's transactional, and he kind of tipped the scales early on and goes like, well, when I need a favor, you'll repay me. right? That would be good, right? And that's kind of what this thing is. And it's weird. It's weird. Anyway, sorry,
If it was just let me stare at your feet and I'll give you information, she is ordering a murder. I'm gonna push back on that part.
But he's also masturbating in front of her without her consent. Like, sure, she can consent to this.
Only if she wanted. Only if she wanted the murder. If she didn't want the murder, then she could leave the room.
I mean, so the thing about it is that like.
That's what I'm arguing. Is that I'm like, if you order a murder, maybe it should be uncomfortable.
I mean, so
is there any? Hold on. I gotta try to make Morgan's screen bigger when she's talking. Like all of the like in this. No, continue, Maddie. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say the whole thing about it is that number one, we don't even know if the murder was successful, so she got a bad deal.
It definitely wasn't.
But like the thing about, and a lot of people didn't even realize that they were ordering a murder, which I know we talked about. But like
bad direction, bad writing.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that like. And I don't think there's bad writing, but I do think there might be bad direction. But we can get into that.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that he starts jacking it, like with no check-in. Like, and I know that it's like a power thing. Like, it's not even really about being very aroused. Honestly, probably it's very much like a power and control thing.
Yeah, because the fact that she's doing this and being so uncomfortable is definitely part of the turn on for him.
Yeah,
the fact
absolutely.
that she has to look away.
Also, do we think that this is the first time it ever happened?
Oh no!
I think when she does serious act,
we start in media res for sure. But I think
information, he doesn't do that shit. I think when she's like, "I need you to do a thing."
No, he literally was like, or are you talking specifically about the masturbation?
The masturbation.
Okay, I don't know that that's very founded or on any sort of basis.
That seems like I'm gonna have to actually take someone's life for this.
I think that's the thing that he does, whether or not she's in the room. To be fair, so I don't know that it's like that thing. Sean, you look like you're losing your mind.
I'm not. Oh, no. I'm just listening to my soul crawl inside, like deeper and deeper into my body, as like we're having this conversation, as just listening to Morgan
very carefully
through
parse
every
this.
hoop to make this work. I mean, like
not making it work. I'm just saying that like it's awful and it's monstrous, but it's like it's a horrible man doing a horrible murder for a lady who's also asking him to murder someone who's like pretty much basically all they want to do is help the people and end the child fighting pits. And they're going to fly on the crown to do that.
Sure.
And so Allison is ordering her murder and like, I don't love it. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but like,
I have videotaped to
more
counter that.
Maybe more highborns had to be uncomfortable before they ordered the murder of.
Sure.
I don't disagree. All the highborns get fucked. All the monarchies get fucked. I hope every person with a crown right now dies. Like that's fine. But the thing about it is that you can't root for someone like Laris and then be like, oh, but Allison deserves it. Like, you know what I mean?
No, I'm not saying she deserves it.
Right.
I'm saying it's transactional where it's like. She's willing to let him do that because she wants this murder done.
Yeah, I think I can see.
She's the queen of the Seven Kingdoms.
But she also wants plausible deniability, where she's like, "I'm gonna just do this, and I'm gonna
not look. Now I don't know what's going on.
She's so fake. She's so fake.
I think.
Yes,
she's the queen of Seven Kingdoms. Cersei would hire the person themselves, and she would be like. Go murder this person.
I mean, you have that whole scene with Cersei and Ned in the garden where she's like, "Power is power."
Right.
Also, Cersei did kind of the same thing with Euron, and we're not saying Euron, he's a dick. Well, I mean, we are, but
yes,
fuck Euron.
Euron and Cersei's thing was also transactional, and that was like actual like.
Okay, the issue is not that it's transactional. That's not what's immoral about it. And I know you know that, but I want to be very clear about that.
No.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like it was transactional, but it was like someone said in the comments, I don't know where it went, but like they were like, yeah, like it's here it is. Big Appa's super chat. If we want to go ahead. And
Oh
pull that
shit!
up.
Let me see the here. Let me pull it up real quick. Here we go.
Yeah, it's an uneven power transaction with Laris and Alicent. She does not want to do the feet stuff. When she turns, she looks like a woman being forced into a deed, and that's what I felt like watching that scene. I felt like
it, yeah, but also she is the queen of the Seven Kingdoms.
I don't know, but like I'm also a badass and I know how to kill someone. But if I'm on a fucking subway and I see a dude 8 feet away from me jacking it, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna wait for the bus stop. Like.
Right.
And that's truly like what that whole scene felt to me, like him pushing her every single boundary and seeing what gave and what didn't.
And that was
it's also her, like her whole character, like she doesn't like to look at the ugly stuff.
Yeah. Well, and the other
absolutely,
and I think the other thing was that the fact that like he created that kind of unbalanced power dynamic, like he kind of very vague, like he vaguely inferred, oh, so you want me to murder my, we're gonna put toes before bros, and I'm gonna murder my brother and my dad, and he's literally said like, oh, I'm sure you'll figure out a way to repay me later. And that is just something that she didn't like explicitly say like, okay, we're doing a murder. That was something that he sort of took advantage of. And I think that's what makes it, I think that's where the unevenness comes in, and that's why it feels
like
so
that
fucking
was 6
creepy.
years ago, I feel like she no, that's the thing where it's like you needed to distance yourself then.
I
I can't with this creep. Like,
yeah.
You knew he showed you exactly what he was.
Yeah.
The day you met him, he's like, I murdered my dad and my brother. Here, have a dead body.
Yeah. No, she understood what he is, and I think that in some ways, like this episode, and this is kind of why I like it, is that like it's establishing all of this debate, and that we're seeing like they're trying to give you a gray area they're trying to soften. You okay there, buddy? Sorry, my dog just took it.
I can't with this conversation anymore.
He's like, I'm not part of this.
Right.
We're trying to establish a gray area with Alicent where everybody's like, oh, I kind of see her part, and like Otto's the real asshole or whatever. But then she's aligning herself with this other terrible man who's like willing to go do terrible things for her, and like just because she looks away doesn't mean she's not complicit. And she's like straight up ordering a hit.
Right.
And so like she's using her power. And so Larry's...
And I have empathy where it's like that's the only power she thinks she has.
Laris is the one spot where Alicent like saw this fucking little creep and she's like, I can manipulate him. So I actually feel like in some ways Alicent is actually like doming him. Like she sees him for what he is. And she's
I hope.
him.
I can only hope. I don't know.
Right?
I don't know.
Like, and she's like, okay, like in the same way.
Didn't seem like she was in control of that shit. It didn't seem like she was in control of that at all.
In the same way that because like think about this, like she sees Crispy for exactly what he is. And
right.
She is 1,000% using Crispy.
I will. No. I think that's
dog.
there though. Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Crispy will
but
that guy will eat a fucking cigarette. Like that guy will do whatever the fuck she wants.
Right.
I mean, he won't maim children for her though. He did have his limit with that one.
He won't name children.
Right. I mean, like, even
Loris is absolutely down to maim some children for her.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Larry's like, I got a bucket of children's eyeballs from the fighting pit.
You know what? Sometimes you got to pay the troll toll.
You got to, 100%.
All it goes down to.
All right. I mean, like, and so I think, but again, like, it's, I mean, like, bringing out that type of discussion is always kind of what, I mean, Game of Thrones be Game of Thrones and over here with some of this shit, which is like a little, but I think it's a worthwhile conversation to have.
Agreeing with me, sick.
What?
Buying you a drink on Sunday.
Hey, let's talk about a couple of things. We got ourselves a couple of notes maybe over here. We were talking about what you can red keep. You can red keep it, maybe some story element, some performance, some element of the episode that you maybe thought that they maybe could have changed, maybe done differently, etc. so forth. Let's kick it over to Sam. How are you feeling over there, Mr. Sam Coleman? What do you think that this episode could red keep about this year week?
I don't No.
Do you want some time?
Perhaps. Come back to me. Come back.
We'll circle back.
Hold on, I get to do a Regis filming. Do you need more time, Sam? You know what I mean? Like we can do that sort of thing. Ask your grandparents about that shit show. Well, I mean, here, let's take it over. Maddie, what do you got over there? What could be red kept about this here episode?
So I think the red keeping that we're doing for this episode would be the Twitter discourse about whether or not Rhaenys was right.
Yep.
And
this is mine.
Yeah. Girl,
there we go.
let's talk about it.
I love it. All right, well here, let's go.
So I'm tired of people being like, she could have fucking ended the war and she could have fucking like done this and that. Like she doesn't know what other people know. Like she's not there. She's not in the rooms. She also is not a kinslayer. She also, here's the thing though, like it's not like, makes me so mad. She's not in the war. If she wanted a war, she could have gone to war to be queen, but she didn't want to be queen. So even if she wanted to be queen, she didn't want to be queen enough to do what needed to be done. And so that's her whole deal. She's like, I want to take care of my family. How does torching the entire royal family in front of all of the small folk and probably also torturing the small folk?
I mean,
going
to help did that, but
like, I mean, yeah.
Right,
so like,
right.
She already
like it was Jiffy Pop. They were just out of there.
Yeah. So that could be incidental, but like having Maylis Dracarys to everybody would have been very intentional on her part, and there would be survivors, and they would spread the tale. And so I think that either her moving makes her choose a side on the war, may or may not kill everybody in the room, may or may not ruin the Targaryen legacy right there.
Sure.
And I do agree that would have not prevented the war. I mean, do I wish that she fucking ate somebody on her way out? Yes, Kristen Cole, I'm looking at you. Like,
so crispy.
Oh my god, wouldn't that be so good if they were just like, hold on, just give us 1 second. And then they just move off to the side and just have him and Otto and Larys like off to the side, like that would just like.
Shut up
like
about Larys.
absolutely,
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So she could either start this war that she knows is coming, or she can be like, you know what? Actually, no. And I do think that Allison jumping in front of her is like, oh yeah, that like we had this conversation, we had this connection. I'm a mother too. I would do the same thing. So I think that's why she doesn't roast Allison in that moment. Then I do agree she could have fucking murdered Kristen Cole on her way out, and nobody would have been mad.
Here we go. Shout out. We got Sean David Gallagher, a Lord Farquaad death for Cole, straight out of fucking Shrek. Would have been perfect.
I love that.
Because that would have been, because it was very pointed. It was very much a surgical strike, just like went down in one fell swoop. And then like I know that we'd all be feeling a lot better about that. That would have been pretty fucking slick. You know what I mean?
She doesn't know what we know, and she is not a kinslayer, and she doesn't want to fire the opening shot. So.
Yeah, well, Maria, like since that was also your thing. Like anything else
Maria,
you could add about that? Like what? Like
so the part of that discourse that I did not like was like, oh, she didn't do it because she recognizes Allison as a mother or whatever. She's been known that Allison was a mother. Like this is not like new. She wouldn't just suddenly realize that Allison is a mother. Right? Like it never crossed her mind. Like what are we even doing here? You see her,
right?
You know, so. I know, even though she hasn't been in the conversations, whatever, just by this fact that this coronation is happening, the wheels have got to be turning in her brain about what this is going to mean for her family as well, right? So yeah, she could absolutely, singe a little green right there. That would have been cool, but also we wouldn't get some of the season 2, and then it could also end up worse for her because, like you said, it is a little bit of a murky water for her right now, right? But I feel like a better motivation for her to not have. Burn them to a crisp would have been the fact that she is a mother who has lost her children, and she might not want that. She might not want to be the reason for that for anyone else.
Absolutely.
I have a real question. Is Rhaenys the Barack Obama of Westeros? Like, no. This is like
no. She would have like.
Hear me out, because like all of the criticism that a lot of people have said about like Barack Obama is that he was not like. Cutthroat enough, or that he was too centrist, and and I think what everybody's saying about Rhaenys is that like, yeah,
had she just taken the reins, but like, I'm queen.
I mean,
and she would have been
not
great.
To get political here, but like that's how we ended up with fucking Trump, where it was like, you know what? Trump would have fucking burned everybody with his goddamn golden dragon, with his Caraxes.
I've been hearing some very disturbing things about it. I mean, maybe I don't. Well,
I mean, so like, is she too centrist? Is that the issue? That
Yes,
we have?
I think that she does
possible.
herself a disservice by not choosing a side.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
letting
I mean,
the
there's
side
a-
be chosen.
She also did it, like going back when Rhaenyra was like, "Please endorse my children." Like she did it, but not really.
Well, because she was like, no, I'm not going to sacrifice Driftmark on a losing side, though.
I also think she didn't want anybody to feel certain about her position.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
No,
Now there are a lot of folks in the chat are like, "Well, she killed all those small folk." Well, yes, we know,
well, so
but
Yeah.
like they also don't care about the small folk.
The Targaryens think they are gods. Let's not forget that.
yeah, that's. I mean, like, that's true. I mean, like, it's like, I mean, like, and obviously, no. Again, we're not saying that makes it right. I mean, like,
No.
obviously. I mean, like, no. I think it's. Well, I also. Well, this kind of leads into my. I'm just gonna jump right in because we're kind of talking about the moment right now. The thing that I could keep it is that I wonder. I would love to know. I would love to know. Like how, because again, like green screen acting, green screen directing, green screen, all that kind of stuff is very kind of strange, as we've known since it's kind of become like a big kind of element of filmmaking and stuff like that, where people.
I'm sorry. Are you telling me that Sam is not in the sept right now?
Oh my god! Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I mean, like, it shouldn't be too. It should be kind of warm with all those candles in there and stuff. No, but I mean, yeah, as Sam can attest. But like, I think that at least with some of this stuff, I wonder. Maybe you could keep some of the, like, the direction. Like, I think that it would have just like a couple.
Greg.
It's possible.
we're just
that Greg-
blaming Greg.
Greg.
We're
possible
blaming
that Greg. It's possible that Greg fucked it up. You know what I mean? Because I think that her kind of having, like, I'm sure it felt like the thing that she was thinking about, obviously, was the fact that she's thinking about this moment that she's having with Allison, seeing her, looking into her eyes and making the decision or not to fucking, to pull the dragon trigger, essentially. And I think that, like, had there been some way in which, like, but had it been a physical set, had she been in the sept with hundreds of extras, maybe there's some element of the performance that would have came out where she's just like, I'm not like into this or whatever it is. I think that there's some direction elements that maybe could have alleviated a little bit of this. Also, the other thing is that we know that from the books, Aegon rides in on, is it Dreamfire? Is that his? Sunfire. Okay. So
Do we know that?
Well, no. But so,
Well, the Maesters say that he did.
So.
And it's
Propaganda, yo.
propaganda.
No, this is great. This is what I wanted to talk about.
No.
I want Sean to finish his thought.
I mean,
are we breaking our own rules here right now?
What? Oh, no. This is what already happened in the book. So Aegon's crowning in Fire and Blood.
Okay.
The Maesters say that Aegon flew around the city on Sunfire. And everybody cheered and everyone was so happy. And like that, because it's kind of pro-Greens propaganda a little bit.
Maester Munkin was a green maester. This is
and it's anti-Targaryen in general, but they were like trying to make his crowning pretty exciting. So we don't know that it actually happened.
Right. So what I mean is you can kind of you can keep an element of that, right? Where Dreamfire, like, he rides up, Dreamfire, he's
Sunfire.
He's
Moonfire.
Well, no, it's
Heartfire.
Wildfire.
Right.
Earthfire.
Earthfire, Windfire.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. In the
Earth,
show?
Wind, and Fire. Right. Absolutely. I'm just working my way through the Avatar 4 nations.
That's all that dragon does
is
is sing. That's all.
Air fire, water fire, earth fire. Everything changed when everything changed when the Mellies attacked. So it's Sunfire. Sunfire is there. And then we kind of can get like a little bit of the same thing, like a bit of a standoff, like Mellies bust out. He is backed up. Sunfire is behind them in the processional, like as this big, powerful sort of like show of force. It's very captivating for the masses. It would be fucking great TV. You know what I mean? Like he's just right there. You could almost get like a little bit of an echo of, and I know this is controversial, but I do love the Daenerys with the dragon behind her and shit like that. You know what I mean? You could get a little something like that.
Gorgeous.
So cool. Oh, so awesome. So awesome.
Cool.
So that's happened. We still get the bust out of the melees because she's just got it. She has to get out. You know what I mean? And then you have essentially goes like, am I ready to like basically if I fire them, then we're going to get into the fight with this dragon and we're all going to hell tonight. I think that having a little very similar to the Daemon and Rhaenyra face off with the dragons that were kind of sitting backed by two different armies like on the walkway in Dragonstone. And that maybe could have given also a little bit more like just another thing underneath it to that why she would stay her hand. You know what I mean? To go there is one way that I think you could maybe like kind of make it because it was kind of the direction of that scene was kind of maybe my thing that they could red keep. So that kind of be my one thing. So like I don't know.
You know what? I just got to circle back and say how much I love this conversation tonight with all of you.
Of course.
Like I love that like we've been able to like pick a very like internet-wise contentious episode.
I like how we're fighting.
I think this is really cool. Like the fact that everyone's like, fucking Game of Thrones is the worst, man. Season 8 was so bad. Nobody gives a shit about Game of Thrones. Like they fucking ruined everything.
Right.
And it's like we're on episode 9, and I'm like, man, like the fact that we, we're, an hour and a half deep of this conversation, and like we're all like really in it. Like I'm so excited to be back in this world, and so much of what I loved about it is just like all of the intrigue and infighting, and like all of us kind of like, what the hell's going on?
Like I don't know,
It's so
my
cool.
red keep it really was the weird internet greens and black stands, the weirdness of like, I'm sorry, if you ever tweet out, if you like this character, you're out of your mind or you're crazy.
Right.
Like, wait, the made up magical, like written
It's
on
fine,
paper.
they're fictional.
Right.
And like, none of this is real, baby.
Whatever.
But like people, like I don't know, like, I'm assuming they're just young. Because like they're acting like Nicki Minaj versus Cardi B stands where they if you like this
You like
person,
one or the other.
you are literally a bad person, and you should just like go to therapy and think about your life. And it's like, but
When you make your hobbies your entire personality, it's not.
and I
cute, Sam.
Yeah, I like the greens and the blacks to understand that we're all toxic and
Yes, 100%.
just choose the worst person to stand, and then you'll never be sad the day in your life.
I think that explains everything about Morgan right now on this podcast.
And that's why she married me.
Today, someone on Twitter friended me, or they followed me, and they were like, Crispin Cole apologist. And I was like, follow back because, baby, I get it. I hate Crispy, but as a fellow
I want to see what you have to say.
I was like, I also have a problematic fave. So, like, we're just going to be fucking Jon Snow against the Battle of the Bastards together.
No,
what you're saying
you're literally
is-
sitting there just like, it's like, all right, we're ready to go. Let's get going.
Why does he like a baseball bat? Why does that happen?
Because he's going to fight.
It's very heavy.
It's very
gonna
heavy.
slash
I mean,
through
like,
things.
that would be.
Yeah,
that
and
would
also
be
very
heavy.
wobbly.
Yeah, I feel like it was wobbling and he was moving his wrist to make it look like he was doing it on purpose.
Right,
and it was
right,
just
right,
wobbling
right.
because it's a wind.
Right, because it's a fucking rubber fucking sword and shit. Absolutely. Oh my god. All right, well, we give it a little bit of time. Like, is there anything, Sam? We're coming back. Is there anything that you would like to red keep? Is there anything?
Yeah.
that you got over there?
let's
What do you got, babe?
Cut out the last bit. This isn't live, is it? We can pretend this
Oh
is
yeah,
the
yeah,
first
yeah,
time.
yeah. No,
We'll
I'm,
edit it in
yeah.
post. It's totally
Well,
fine.
we'll fix it in
Nobody
post. Don't worry.
It's
Yeah.
just between us. Don't worry.
Great.
Right.
I would red keep the whole chasing after to find Aegon thing because I feel like
Interesting,
that whole bit could have been a footnote. I think they put that in because of the Twitterati, let's call them, who are like, oh, I want to see some action in this episode. It's boring. They're just talking.
Oh, interesting.
And so they're
Okay.
like, let's give a little chase scene. Let's make it feel a bit more like some sort of Sherlock chase scene. Let's show them some kids fighting. Let's show them the underworld of King's Landing. Oh, it's all
Sure.
exciting. Well, I would have rather stayed in the sort of chambers and the back halls, of the castle and watched all that political West Wing-esque stuff, because I mean it happens in the real world as well. Like when things happen, like let's take the British political situation for example. When Liz Truss realised that she was no longer going to be Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, she would have known a good while before she came out and told people. And when all of those people are inside that building going, shit, what do we do?
All the assistants talking to each other.
That is juicy politics right there.
Sure.
When you know something's about to happen, when you know that Putin's invaded Ukraine, but the world doesn't know yet, or when you know that things have happened and no one else does, that moment where you're like, how do we break this? How do we control the story? That is the juicy stuff that I like. I keep doing hands.
I mean,
because you mean it.
I don't know much about the British political system.
We're dumb Americans.
I just assume when the prime minister resigns, they send out like 5 people to
the
go
sub
find
prime
heir.
minister.
Yeah.
They go on a hunt
Wait,
to find the
did
next
they
heir.
find an under butler to send out and find?
And they search the streets for the next in line to the crown. And
No. This is the all of the candidates go into this show called Love Island.
Everything I know about England, it comes from Bridgerton. So like that's all.
Oh Lord.
I don't exactly. So
I
know
watch
nothing.
it and I talk about it, and that's how.
Me too.
To be fair,
Me too.
To overthrow a conservative leader, it does involve a lot of people writing letters.
There you go.
Okay.
So
That sounds really time
So
consuming.
Lady Whistledown overthrew.
Yeah. No wait, I do have an actual question.
Yeah.
Not to belittle your country. I'm so sorry, Sarah.
No, fuck the UK.
You guys,
we've belittled you for years.
Fuck
now
the
it's your
UK,
turn.
fuck the USA, fuck everybody.
I did a lot of Bridgerton themed weddings this year, so I have a lot of residual like vitriol. So my actual question is, but like, how do you, and this is it's specifically to you, Sam. How do you feel about the whole like Eric and Arik? Is that like the brother?
Arik and Eric.
So
Arik and Eric.
I think that their turn is an important point that we needed in the show.
Yes.
So like if we got rid of all of the like let's go search for this fucking drunk degenerate like would-be king, how do we incorporate them in the show? Because they're the ones that kind of like need to see they're kind of the stand-ins for the small folks for seeing what
they have a turn of heart.
Is.
They literally have a turn of heart. Like
and they're the ones that like
they're
get
the Greek
Rhaenys
chorus.
out. Yeah, exactly. So like, how would you have like incorporated that into the story? Because I think that that's a thing that we needed.
Yeah. Well, I think we see Eric's turn. I think it's Eric, one of them. His turn when he
Eric, yeah.
Eric is the one that gives Rhaenys an exit, so he's
yeah.
the one
Well,
to
that's when we see his turn is when he gives Rhaenys an exit. I think we could have seen them sent off. Eric, go find him. Then only Eric comes back. And we say, "Where's Eric?" And then we cut to Eric going to Rhaenys.
I think what Sam is. Please.
please.
No, I totally get the point about those scenes, but I really like a chase against time.
Oh, it's good fun. It's good fun. But
but I totally get like,
Easter
we
egg
can really
hunt.
get back to the like story.
Well, no. I don't necessarily think. If I don't think that Sam is saying that he doesn't like the hunt. I think he was talking about. I think he was talking
as far
about
as like story.
spectacle of the children fighting.
Well, no. I mean, like, I think all of that stuff is fine. I think what he's literally talking about, are like possibly, and correct me if I'm wrong, is like the literal like we're doing like this kind of pointless thing where nobody dies and whatever. Is that not it?
No. That was almost kind of it.
I thought I misheard you.
No, but I think it could have been really interesting if maybe I don't know. Maybe for example, if the whole episode had taken place in that room, in that chamber. Just
that'd be ballsy as hell.
People leave.
I would love
people
that,
come
actually.
in.
Yeah,
Hear bells or whatever.
This is the room where it happens. To quote Hamilton.
Okay.
This is we see the people outside the room. We see the people inside the room.
Oh yeah, that
like
could
that
have been
idea.
cool.
And it's not until they leave the room that's when the news is public news, and then we get the end
Interesting
stuff. I don't know.
Do you think we'll ever get a Song of Ice and Fire World bottle episode ever?
Oh, I don't.
That'll be awesome.
Well, maybe not ever. I mean, like, because they're planning on making a lot of different shows, and maybe there's a show where they can kind of push the boundaries a little bit. I think that what was it? The fight between Crispy and one of the Ricks, the Erics or whatever. One of the Ricks over there.
But the brother fight
was cool. I like that. No.
It it was such a real brother fight. With the spitting.
No.
And the like,
right?
Oh, they fought dirty.
I meant like just like we're like I don't know, we're just burning up time when the dialogue between them and the ideas between the two brothers and those two brothers like are the things that I really wanted to have the most of when we're kind of doing like this, I don't know, like Robin Hood, like Prince in tights, like click 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 and nobody dies, like it's like you know what I mean type of thing, where
There's
I think
no real
that,
stakes.
What's that?
Yeah,
no
you knew
stakes.
that Christy wasn't gonna kill him,
right? And so I think it would be one of those things.
He'd already done his one murder for the episode. So.
I think you could, right? Oh my god, right? I think maybe they could have had some swords drawn, but just give that time, like the dialogue and like how people are feeling. I mean, like Eamon just was talking about like how like I mean, it's one of my favorite episodes. Like when they come, it's like when they come calling for me, like I mean to be found. You know what I mean? And I loved that line, and I loved that shit.
And that was kind of what I was like questioning Sam. Sure. Like when I get that like spending 10 minutes of a 50-minute episode on like let's go find this degenerate king that doesn't want to be found. I get what they were trying to do as writers is that like they were trying to find like the reluctant king. They were trying to find the beast that was under the boards.
Right.
I mean that was like the red herring. Like that it was like Aegon, but it was really the dragon.
Sure.
And that was the writers trying to be clever. And like, I think that there were parts of those scenes that worked for me.
Oh yeah.
But I think that they could have found ways to incorporate that more. And this is like why I thought this episode was really cool. Was like, man, like as much as like we've seen so much great television in the last 5 years, and I think that like it's very like valid to be critical and to like hold people to higher standards. But then also like I think we also need to acknowledge when people do stuff that's right.
Oh sure.
And and it's like sometimes you need to do stuff that's wrong to really like make the good stuff highlighted.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, like that sucked, but this was awesome. And we're putting out stuff at such a massive clip right now. I mean, look at all the great shows that we have out right now.
Sure.
And the fact that we're still talking like this vehemently about House of the Dragon, a show which, I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but Game of Thrones is over.
No one cares.
Nobody cares. And like everybody that was involved in it.
Don't tell my agent. Don't tell my agent.
right. Exactly. Yeah, that's news.
So sorry, your career over.
We're just like, listen, that was silly Twitter nonsense.
That was 4 years ago.
That was so silly. And I like every time I'd read it, I'd be like, you guys are out of your minds.
Like those shows were amazing. And like I think it's really important to understand that like there are really great things happening in this show, and then I hope that like this discourse is really pushing us forward to like even better television in the future.
Yeah. Well, I think it's always like I think that I definitely here. I mean, we're always like, I mean, I think we're like, we got The Rock and Vin Diesel like notes, like we're usually, if we give out a punch, we got to take a punch type thing or whatever it is with stuff. Because I do think that even if like, depending on whatever my opinion is, like this is an immaculately produced fucking piece of television. I mean, and in so many ways. I mean, most of the time we're sitting on a wealth of riches for the most part. I think, and it's just like we kind of get to, I don't know, I wouldn't say like we're not nitpicking territory, but it sometimes it feels like that. At least when I know that when I bring up a problem that I might have with an episode or something like that. Do we get to everybody? Do we get to everybody's red keep it moment? Did we have any holdovers? Did we get everything? Okay, cool. Well, then we're moving right along. We're looking forward to a couple of different things too, because this is the penultimate. We are fucking done. Like this time next week. We're done with covering this show to a certain extent. It'll be one of the last things that we film. Would be one of the last things that we produce and we put together for House of the Dragon until I'm going to say early 2024. I think it's probably going to be like around like April, May, or something like that. Yeah, I could definitely. But it's a long time off. So again, to Dustin's point, it is something that I'm incredibly grateful, to the Draces, to Maddie, to Maria, to Sam, to everybody that we've also to everybody that we've had on this season in the past and everything. It's truly great. But let's turn our gaze towards the future. What are we got our three-eyed raven predictions, what we are looking forward to for the next and maybe you can extend it if you want for the next episode and maybe for the series as a whole and stuff like that. Maria, I would love to know your three-eyed raven predictions. What do you have for us, dear?
Well, I mean, I know there's going to be a civil war and everything, but what I really am looking forward to seeing is just like the sky full of dragons.
Yeah.
More than 3 dragons on screen. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, right. I mean, there was like that one shot that we got at the funeral where they were kind of having like a puppy play date, you know what I mean? And there was like about 5 or 6 or something of them.
They were at the Dragon Sky Park.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. And so I think that, I'm with you with that. I'm 100%. You know what I mean? Like, or let's get, that's the Fire Forks factory that I really want to get to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be interested to see if they do anything with, of course, I forget his name the moment I think of it, but Lena's brother, who we thought was dead.
Oh, Lenore. Lenore. There
Yeah.
is so much possibilities with that character.
I hope it's not the
I
last time
can't
we see
get
him.
into.
Right?
It's possibilities.
That'll be interesting. That could be definitely interesting. I think the well, here let's kick it over. Sam, what do you got for your three-eyed raven predictions? What are you looking forward to next week and maybe even beyond, buddy?
Well, we certainly need to see some Rhaenyra and Daemon stuff because after that episode, I'm missing, Matt's beautiful dreamy blue eyes. We need those. We need to see what their reaction to all of this is. I'm interested. I mean, I haven't read the book, so I don't know. I'm interested, like, who gets the news to them first.
Right.
Because clearly they've left it with like, Rhaenys is off on her dragon. Alicent's probably sent some sort of nice letter saying, "Hey babes, how's it going?
Hey,
Just
want to
let
come
me
over and hang
know."
out?
And the guy who was accompanying Rhaenys and who she got separated from too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Eric.
Yeah, Eric.
And then
also
Westerling is in the
Otto's
mix.
probably sent some like assassin or something.
Mm.
So I wonder who gets to them first.
Right.
Who
Yeah.
breaks the news? Who's like, hi, so BT Dubs.
CNN breaking news.
Right.
Papa died.
Yeah. No. Like Dad's dead and
Eggs is on the throne.
literally crowned yesterday. Literally. Like, and I had a chance to kill him and I didn't do it. Sorry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, that'll be an interesting scene just to see them realize it. And again, kind of I think that we eventually will get some greens and stuff, but I think probably definitely the first 20 minutes or so I could see kind of being front loaded with Rhaenyra, Daemon, and that whole crew and just how they react to the news and stuff.
I wonder if they'll play it kind of like things happening concurrently. We saw, this episode from that side. We'll see the same story, but from the other side.
That could be very interesting. Yeah, that could be very cool. Yeah, definitely. All right, I love that. Maddie. Okay, what do you have to say for yourself as far as your three-eyed raven predictions? What do you have?
So I do want to reach out real quick, and I want to mention something that so they just said at this point they could change their dragons too. Yeah. So my point is that I wanted to get to that I didn't get to, and it's okay, is that the thing that happened with Rhaenys in the Dragon Pit is really interesting from a book reader perspective. Because as a book reader, you know that the books say, which is what I was getting to earlier, that Aegon mounted his dragon and flew Sunfire around the Red Keep 3 times. And they described Sunfire very specifically as golden with pink wings, wing membranes. And so we've already seen Sunfire in the shot from leaving the wedding or the funeral, I believe, after on the ships. And it doesn't look like Sunfire has pink wings. Sure. Which is really interesting. And as we know, well, actually, I won't talk about that. But
hit a spoiler wall.
Aegon's delete the book knowledge.
Right.
Yeah. So Aegon's sigil is really interesting in that regard, and that's all I'll say. But
that
But
a
yeah.
dragon with definitely who had pink or red wings did fly around the dragon pit.
Yes, which is the point that I'm getting to, which as we know, all of the maesters are working to an agenda. And as we know, all of the information reported about dragons at coronation.
Yeah.
Were that the dragon with pink wings was flying around, but it was definitely Sunfire and it was definitely Aegon. Don't worry about it.
Interesting.
Like, I think that is a really subtle thing and a really fun way that the show is playing with the book. So like it's saying to me as a book reader, everything you think you know about this book, you might not even know.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's really fun. Yeah.
That's my favorite part about the adaptation is that it's based on a book that everything could be made up because it's 3 guys and then another guy and then one of the guys might not even exist because we haven't seen Mushroom anywhere.
We saw Mushroom at the wedding, but yes.
Was that Mushroom?
Yes, it was because Patty Considine said Mushroom needs to be at this wedding.
That was
That was Mushroom.
Yeah, the drummer.
He did.
Yeah, the drummer. That was
Why
Mushroom.
isn't he a series regular? That seems.
I agree. No, Morgan, I'm fully with you. But it was Patty Considine on set going, Mushroom needs to be at this wedding. Mushroom needs to be at this wedding.
Interesting.
And that's the only reason that
Mushroom needs to be in the in any episode ever.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's my thoughts on Mushroom from the little that I read of the books. That like, it's like we've already had Tyrion, and it's like it just seems like we can't have that. And people would have.
I know the wise cracking a dwarf man who's smarter than anyone ever thinks that he is, and it's like I get it. It's kind of a played out, but
they could also maybe.
But it
write him in a
also would
different
be really
way.
hard to right if they would have to write him in a different way.
Yeah,
because if they kept him like that, it would be extremely hard to live up to Peter Dinklage's performance.
Right.
Yeah, and I would not want to be occupying a similar role.
Yeah. No, I think I think that's fair. I mean, like it'll be. I wonder. I mean, I think that maybe who knows? Like maybe that is with a little bit of the kind of like holding the ear to like some of the fandom and stuff like that. Like, okay, cool. Let's like maybe we'll get like a scene, or 2 or something like that of Mushroom like in this thing or whatever. It's it could be possible. I wonder if they'll go there. Who else do we got? Who else needs to do some 3-eyed Raven predictions? So Traces over there? You guys, I think we're down there to the Traces. What are you feeling?
As a book reader, I'm going to delete anything for the next episode because like most of the big beats, I think I kind of know. So I'm going to make a blanket statement of conspiracy theories that I think are true, or either not. It's not going to be confirmed for the next episode, but like just going forward. I completely believe those twins are Aemond and Helena's children and not Aegon's. And I'm just gonna go on the record.
I'm
gonna go on the record and say,
one.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm gonna go on the record that the beast beneath the boards is not Melis. It is it's Aegon himself, pulled out from those boards of candles. Because the second they put a crown on that man's head, he was Freddie Mercurying and like.
He turned into fucking Freddie Mercury Homelander. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And also,
he lived it.
Yeah. Like I said in our rewatcher in the bar episode, he's like a TikTok star rewarded for bad behavior, or a YouTube star rewarded for bad behavior, or for doing nothing, doing the bare minimum. He just raises a sword and wiggles it around, and everyone goes fucking crazy. His mother wouldn't even tell him that she loved him, but these strangers.
But he's also like, I'm a horrible guy. Why would you make me king?
Right, in a certain sense, but then when he received that affirmation from the crowd,
he was like,
that
yes,
was his new love affair. That was his
the mommy dearest of it all. There's a scene in Mommy Dearest where Faye Dunaway she goes to her daughter. She's like, why won't you give me the respect that any stranger in the street would give me?
Right.
And she's like, because I am not one of your fans.
One of your fans. Right.
Aegon is getting the respect from strangers in the street for nothing. Right. And that's poisoning his little fucking mind. And he's going to be a fucking menace. And I'm here for it. I'm so excited. So those are my 2 3-eyed Raven predictions.
There we go. Right on.
Aegon monster from the Fame.
Yeah.
The Fame monster, if you will. He's a real Lady Gaga.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. He's a good.
And his friends aren't his. Those are Eamon's.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think there could be. I mean, definitely we're going to get like how it'll be interesting to see how he just like how that relationship kind of gets like kind of finessed like later in later seasons and stuff like that. Because again, it was the only time that anyone had actually like affirmed him in any way. You know what I mean? Like in any and now that was like I think that was like he was like, oh, I can see this as the start of a beautiful new relationship. That's kind of what he's thinking like when that kind of happened and shit. The I think as far as like my kind of predictions, I feel like we're going to get like a kind of a mini, like a micro version. And this is just because I saw, we were in the bar and we saw like a coming attractions type thing. I do think that we're going to have kind of like a slightly bottlenecked kind of version of the same thing. It's not going to be entirely green like this kind of last episode was, where the whole episode was just in fucking King's Landing. It was pretty much only greens. I think like the first like 20, 25 minutes, we're going to kind of like see where everybody's at with Damon, Rhaenyra and stuff like that. And then I think we're gonna have the first battle. I think the first like strike is gonna be the first kind of like
organized blow.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that we're losing one of the children. And I think because there's just more children in Rhaenyra's like camp.
Let's kill Darren, the one we haven't heard about.
No, my God, right? Yeah. Absolutely. Like, let's just like say. I mean, like, I'm very, very afraid for
Alicent child.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Right. That's right. Well, who knows? I mean, maybe. I mean, like, but I do think I think that it's become. Like Alicent has become fortified. She has become kind of radicalized. She's like, holy fuck, like I face down death. Like the stakes are high and stuff like that. I think that Rhaenyra is we are going to be pushed past the point of no return. I'm really, really afraid for either Jace or Luke. I don't know who's going to do it, but I feel like one of those kids are going to fucking have a hard time, if not like literally die, like in the next episode. I don't know if that's the case. I have not read the books. But like I don't know. I feel like something big is going to happen. Like, I mean, like, and I don't, and we're going to see a dragon battle because I feel like they've been itching to get to this type of stuff and we've been itching to see it. And we're going to see kind of the first battle of the dance, I think is going to kind of be the thing.
Imagine if we don't. Imagine if it's like honestly, Dragon Battle coming season 2.
I mean, you know what? Honestly,
we ran out of money.
If they, I mean, if they deliver
with puppets.
Yeah, I mean, like if they deliver me an episode, like on par with some of my favorite episodes of this season, I'll be totally fine with that. I mean, like I'm of the opinion that all of this material could have been 2 seasons long. Like I want the show to go slower.
For sure.
Like I think I want the show to go slower. I mean, like that's kind of been my thing. Like a lot of the things that we've sort of had to kind of grasp at has been because they have taken it upon themselves to just move at a tremendous pace. Yeah, and
like, I was so excited for Lena to like see grown Lena and everything.
My God.
I mean, like
that's why 6.
I wanted that Lena marriage fleshed out. Yeah. I wanted Rhaenyra to be up in it.
That's why 6, I think, will probably at the end of the day take the crown for my least favorite episode because it highlights like my biggest problems with the things that I grapple with most with the show. It's that I just want more of it. That's literally the only thing that I'm really saying is like, you guys can actually do this and do this well. We're kind of back in the saddle of like the type of Game of Thrones that I like, that we are absolutely capable of doing. And I think and I understand, like they want to get to the fireworks factory, they want to have all that type of stuff, I mean, like, and so and that's fine. Like they're doing a stupendous job, even so with given the task to which they've given themselves. I just want more of it. You know what I mean? I want more of it, and and I want it kind of doled out a little more piecemeal. So that'd probably be the only thing. Other than that, I mean, like that's I don't know. It's just Aegon's gonna be such a bastard.
I want more, but also like, man, like Aegon's gonna suck, and we're all gonna hate him, and he's gonna be the worst. But Aemon is gonna be so delicious to watch.
He's gonna be
And
great. No, he's the
No,
same as
he's the
Damon.
mirror
He's
image.
already that way.
No, he's the mirror image of Damon. And if you
Yes.
love
Yes.
Damon, and that's what I love about him, is that if you're Team Black, like some of these crazy people are, you cannot not like Aemond, because Aemond is such a mirror image of Damon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, people are
like-
calling it Damon
take-
Bowl.
Damon
You take
Bowl,
one
absolutely.
letter-
The Damon Bowl.
Yes.
You take one letter and you move it to the end.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
so
I mean,
all
like,
these like people who are like,
Yeah, the only difference
Damon-
is their D's are in different positions.
and like
right.
Damon's the best, Aemon's the worst. And I'm like, they're the same.
They're the same.
These pictures are the same.
Right, no, right. No, I like that when he comes and we do like a little Django Unchained where they're just like my name's Eamon. The D is silent. You know what I mean? Like because it's basically kind of the same guy. I mean, like, they're so similar that like when they had that stare down, and like they were both kind of smiling at one another. Like,
They're like,
and they're
oh,
just like
Damon was like, I see who you are.
exactly. They were just like, oh, this is gonna be fucking fun, dude. Like you know what I mean? Like
Kermit.
there was
they
an
both
element.
respect Targaryen culture. Like,
Yes.
Aemond, if he became king, he would put back up the orgy posters.
Right.
He would.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh,
He's not his mom's son. He is
Right.
like throwing up those orgies back.
He's
up.
into it. Worth it all said. And shout out, give us some fireworks for the last episode in 2024. Absolutely. Now that's what I would be satisfied, but I am a fucking weird snobby prick, and so like that's just like, and so I always want the slow stuff. They got to give us something crazy, and I think that we're gonna.
yeah.
I think that we're gonna be on the edge of our seat for like the last half hour. Last half hour, 20 minutes of that fucking season. It's gonna be crazy. So, I mean, I don't know. Do we have any? Did we miss any super chats? We're kind of in the last bit over there.
Everybody can fight me for money.
Right.
ASAP.
Absolutely.
Get me in. Get
We
me
got-
I
in.
can't believe, Maddie, I fought you for free.
That's your privilege.
See, you're
privilege.
hustling
I know.
backwards.
Yeah.
Oh my God, here we go. We got shout out to Jacob over here. Jacob Austin, $2. There is also the Princess and the Queen. I think that is
a short story.
Oh, right, yes.
that takes
Yep.
place during the dance. And you can read
Interesting.
that.
I like that. Okay,
If you read that, but don't read that, Sean, because you're unsullied. So
I am unsullied. I haven't been. I think we got everything else though. Yeah, because we were talking about everything with Alicent and how he saved her life and everything. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we got everything. I mean, like we'll just highlight it just because it's not crossed out. But shout out to LaFrenic, $5 over there talking about. And again, I think that it bears repeating. I mean, like I think that Alicent's discussion with Rhaenys was what actually literally saved her life, and I think that is. I think that's 100% accurate. I think that is. I think that without her saying like you're a lot clever and she kind of won a little bit of Rhaenys' respect, I think, in that episode, and the humanity of it. You know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things where it's like she goes like I can understand what you're trying to say, but it's just so fucking pathetic.
but it's
in a
dog
certain
shit,
sense.
and you know it.
Yeah, and you know that. You know what I mean? Like, you telling me you never thought of it. You never thought that you could be a great ruler. You obviously had to have been thinking about it given how much swag she had, like, on the small council when Viserys wasn't there and shit. So I think that was a very telling thing, and I think that that's... If there's any kind of keyhole into that scene, I think that's the kind of the biggest thing over there. So... All right, man. All right. Well, I think that kind of does it, at least for us over here, for the second to last, the penultimate.
So sad.
It is. I mean, like, the thing is, I mean, here's the other thing is that we're going to be coming up with a bunch of other reasons to fucking talk with people on the internet about stuff and everything like that. But, well, we got some stuff to stave us over, but we got one more week. I'm very thankful that we've been able to have such an interesting and provocative and thrilling show. Didn't put what Morgan? What are you gonna say?
I'm nothing.
You're not gonna say but it's been an absolute joy. Again, we'll kind of go around the horn here. Sam, let everybody know. You got yourself a website over there. Where can people find you? What do you got going on? What can you plug over there, my friend?
Well, I mean, you guys all know where I am. It's at Sam Coleman Actor on all of the socials and stuff. But I have just started a blog on my website. It'll probably last like a month.
Oh.
Wow,
And then I
that's
will
so
give up.
very 2006 of you.
But
Stonen.
I've finally been like, you know what the world hasn't got enough of? White men talking about stuff and giving their opinions. So if you want a bit of that, There's the address.
Toss a coin to your fucking Hodor, man. Fucking get over there and see if and subscribe to it. I know that's what I'm gonna do for damn sure. Absolutely. All right. Well, that's awesome. Again, we thank you so much for having us, Maria. What do you got going on? Where can people find you? Anything to plug?
Well, first I have to make a confession.
What you got?
Okay. Oh.
I have a wooden Hodor doorstep.
Me too. I have lots of them.
I'm sure you do.
People give them to me, and I'm like, oh wow. Awesome.
How many doorsteps do you have in relation to how many doors that you presently have access to that you would be comfortable using them? How many?
I mean, they are all in a box.
Okay, there we go. Okay, right.
You start signing them and selling them.
You can hold all the doors.
A display case of all your.
Well, when the Young Hodor spin-off happens, which now Ben Schwartz saw it, and he mentioned that there should be a spin-off, so it's going to happen now.
Yes.
When that happens, all the doorstops will be selling merch.
Oh no! Well, you know what you should do. You could also, I mean, you got yourself a Crime hoodie on. You got yourself a Chaos hoodie on. You could maybe just go up to random places of business and just put the doorstop on the outside.
That's your form of payment.
There we go. Absolutely, that's what people will see. I absolutely love that. Okay, well that's awesome. Well, that's great. So you have a doorstop, Maria. But what else do you have going on over there? What else do you got?
I'm on a podcast and YouTube show with my former roommate Lindsay. She graduated with a film degree. I reviewed film for 20 years. So what we're doing is going back through the films that we missed and assigning one to the other that the other hasn't seen.
I love that idea. That's so cool.
That's a good idea.
So it's called Roomies Review the Movies. We're on Twitter as well. And so our next episode is going to be The People Under the Stairs that I
am going to watch that shit. I'm watching
I haven't seen it, so
you've never seen
my first time.
Oh, that's great. We went. Was it last year?
We went to a drive-in.
We went to a drive-in.
Oh, cool.
We went to a drive-in showing of it in Chicago. That was it was awesome. You guys are gonna have a lot of. You guys are gonna have a lot.
There's a lot to dig into there.
A lot to dig into there. It's it's a Wes Craven really I don't know, just he's swinging for the fucking fences with that one.
Anti-landlord propaganda, so I love it.
Right.
And then I'm also on another podcast with 5 other Black ladies where we talk about nerdy and geeky stuff called Nerdgasm Noir.
Love it. So good.
You can find us on any kind of podcast platform. We'll be there. We're on Instagram. We have a Discord and we have Twitter. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Valar More Dollars on any social media platform. I have the same name. So
lovely consistency. I love it. All right, Maddie, what do you got over there? Where can people find you?
I threw my Koji in the title, taking a leaf from Sam Coleman's book, which is a good book. Everybody should read it.
There we go.
And also read his blog. Thanks. But yeah, with koji.com/@MaddieK. But you can find me on Instagram as @MaddieKUltra. You can find me on Twitter at MaddieKPlays. You can find me streaming on Twitch at Hillbilly Eilish. Thank you, Sean, for that name.
That's a great name.
And you can also find me Fortnite dancing over any news that makes me happy, especially coming out of the UK, i.e. a Lizzie dying or Lizzie resigning. Makes me very happy.
Liz is going out next week.
I don't know. I hope all of them.
I know, right?
Back.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be like top model in my hands. I hold the picture of one Liz.
Oh my God, absolutely.
But in the meantime, I'm also watching Andor and I'm also watching Arcane. So if you haven't yet, go watch Arcane. And watch these guys talk about Arcane.
Right.
Fucking incredible shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Andor
Andor's sick.
Andor is so good.
It's outrageously good.
We got Star Wars Jersey Shore last episode. I am dying.
Yeah, absolutely, we did. We we were looking for the Star Wars Snooki. I don't know if we quite found him. Hopefully,
where's Snooki? Where she's like, "Where's the beach?"
It's like, "Where's the beach? Where's the space beach?" Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to talk about how good Cassian looks in joggers. Okay, I don't.
Oh, absolutely, right. That's what I'm saying.
I feel like you kind of want to talk about it. I feel like it's on your mind.
I'm trying to save it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to save it.
You know what I think? I think maybe possibly when we kind of get closer to the end of Andor, maybe we could do a live stream or two or something like that about maybe predicting some stuff. Because I feel because again, every the episode with the eye was so spectacular. I'm like, how the fuck? What's the finale gonna be like and shit? So I think we're gonna have a lot of shit to talk about and stuff like that. So we might be doing one or two, couple of cool 2-tree live streams because I do enjoy this quite a bit. We enjoy y'all quite a bit. We enjoy everybody that's in the super chat, all of the chatters and everything like that over there. For joining us. Thank you to all of our guests. Thank you to the Draces. Thank you to the commenters. Thank you to everything. If you guys want to get a number of just an absolute plethora of content, you guys can maybe go take a look over at our Patreon, patreon.com/SeanTankTop. And if you want to find us on any of our socials, you can hit us up. We got a bunch of a big list of our links over at watchersinthebar.com. You just head over there. You can pretty much find any of our social media platforms over there and stuff like that. So give us a look-see over there. We appreciate y'all very much for hanging out with us. We got one more, and it's going to be great. We'll see y'all next week. Take it easy, everybody. We'll talk to you later. We'll see you in